my honor and my opportunity to talk to you about what we're going to be doing for the next 60 days. And first, let me just say that I want to thank you all again for the trust that you have placed in me, for allowing me to serve as your Speaker of the House. Not a day goes by that I don't thank the Lord for this amazing opportunity to help lead this chamber and serve you. And to the former speakers and the former leaders that are here today, and all the former members, we thank you for being here and for the sacrifices you have made for our state. And we all recognize that we're standing on your shoulders as we embark on our duties this session. Leader Thurston, I appreciate all the hard work that you have done. I am proud of the tone that you and I have set thus far this session. And together, we must continue to set the example, both when we agree and when we disagree. I thank you for being a friend. I'm also blessed to have a dedicated Senate partner in Senate President Don Gates. I appreciate his intellect, his selfless dedication, and his cooperation. Members, the table is set to get things done. We are serving in a unique moment in history as we commemorate the 500th anniversary of the Spanish explorers coming to Florida. You see, it was in 1513 when Ponce de Leon was commissioned to come and find a land of promise. He embarked on a difficult journey, sailing with 3 companion ships, and he found a place of beauty and intrigue that he called La Florida, after the Spanish Feast of Flowers. 500 years later, we find ourselves in this chamber among our own Feast of Flowers. Those explorers could not have imagined what lay ahead when they first stood on our shores. So too, we cannot imagine what we will be. But our destiny will not be determined by chance. It will be secured by our actions. You see, we are the change agents, the instruments of our time to shape the future of Florida. Months ago, Senate President Gates and I identified a few priority issues that our chambers could work on together. Many said that the very idea of us working together was destined to fail. In fact, I'm told that the last time it was tried, the presiding officers couldn't even agree on where the location should be for the planning meeting. That's probably a true story. But thanks to President Gates, we have put forth a Florida work plan. It's very straightforward, members. Restore trust in government, foster upward mobility through education, and protect our fiscal future. First, we must restore trust in government. Because if the public believes that our elections are flawed, that our ethics laws are weak, and that our campaign finance laws are broken, how will they ever trust anything else we do here? I would like to thank Representatives Boyd and Cruz for working together to bring forth an elections reform bill that we will vote on later today. The House will have a chance to pass a bill that gives Floridians more hours, more days, and more places to vote. Let the passage of this bill serve as an example of how we can work together. We will also have an ethics bill that holds public officials to a higher standard. I think we can all agree that this is overdue, and I'm very grateful to the Senate President for leading in this endeavor. But you can't do meaningful ethics reform if you don't tackle campaign finance reform. We need to bring sanity to our campaign finance laws. We need to once and for all end CCEs. We must increase transparency so that voters know who people are giving money to so they can make informed decisions. It's not complicated. If Floridians can't trust us with basic responsibilities, how will they ever trust us on the bigger challenges? And perhaps there is no greater challenge that faces the state than our long-term fiscal stability. You see, pension reform is about safeguarding our financial future. There will be those who are defenders of the status quo that will ask, what are we fixing? Where's the crisis? Members, this session, we will spend $500 million of general revenue just to shore up our pension fund. That's above and beyond what we contribute to state employees' retirement. and it's just a down payment. We're going to have to keep writing that check of $500 million for the next 28 years to keep our so-called great pension system afloat. It's not sustainable, it's not rational, and it's not keeping with the times that we're living in. Members, our pension system isn't just about giving our state employees a secure and dignified retirement. It's also about being able to meet commitments to our entire state. It's about our public schools, our public safety. It's about our elders. It's about our health care. Because as Floridians, we're all in this boat together. Members, our plan is fair, our plan is affordable, and our plan will ensure that we don't have to raise taxes in the future in order to bail out a broken pension system. There's a wise man named Victor Hugo who once said, "There's nothing more powerful than an idea whose time has come. The time has come for pension reform." We will continue our pursuit of a world-class, student-centered K-12 education system in Florida. But we must also turn our attention to higher education. Education solves problems that government cannot. Florida needs nationally acclaimed universities. We must break the parochial, narrow vision that has encouraged a culture of mediocrity. We set the stage last year with an approach that we called preeminence. It was a good idea then, it's a good idea now. Every university will have the same opportunity to earn more funding through high achievement, but no university will have a guaranteed outcome. By untethering our best to rise to the top, we will lift the entire system. But equally important, we need an innovative university that utilizes and leverages technology in a way like never before. Change is already here. We can harness it, or we can cling to outdated models that stifle innovation. Our students are the most technologically advanced in the history of our country. They grew up and live online. Universities must be challenged to think differently. And in order to do this, we need to inject a disruptive innovation into the system. Members, a branded, accredited, singularly focused online university will be that catalyst for change. The demand is already here. Floridians from every walk of life can and will utilize this option once we give it to them. Whether it's our National Guard serving overseas, a single mother trying to provide for her children, or a student who wants a more marketable degree in a new and innovative economy, a high-quality virtual education will help them achieve that dream. And here's the best part. We can offer this at a fraction of the cost. Our next generation of students won't have to choose between being saddled with debt and getting a degree. We can lead on this. I believe we must lead on this. While we are removing barriers to upward mobility for Floridians, we must not forget a group of people that we have left behind. Our nation is a nation of immigrants. Florida is a state of immigrants. But today we're treating some of our children born in Florida whose parents made mistakes as second-class citizens. They do not enjoy what every other child born in Florida receives: in-state tuition. If you're born in America, you're an American, and to hold any other view completely contradicts everything that our country was founded upon. I want to thank Representatives Nunez and Trujillo and Artiles and Fullwood for working together to bring forth a bill that puts into our statute what our Constitution, our courts, and frankly, our conscience tells us is right. I look forward to voting yes on that bill. But our job doesn't end with this work plan. It's only the beginning. Over the next 60 days, we'll continue the excellent tradition of passing a balanced budget. Once again, we will show Washington, D.C. that it can be done. Florida will show them how. will continue to push for K-12 education reforms. We will provide more resources to our hardworking teachers. We will implement a long-term plan to protect our national treasure, the Everglades. We will continue to make new investments in our infrastructure, and will reduce regulations on small businesses so they can hire more people, not pay more to government. Which brings me to my last policy initiative that I'll speak about this morning. Perhaps one of the most challenging questions we will face over this session is whether we should expand Medicaid. Let me first start by saying, I know this is a difficult issue. Passions will run high and principles will clash within this chamber. On the matter of expansion, allow me to depart from the message of the House, and let me tell you what I really believe. First of all, let me say, I believe in a safety net. My family has benefited from a safety net. As many of you know, I grew up in a family of 9 children. My father was self-employed, and he did the best he could to provide for us, but we as a family never had health insurance. We could never afford health insurance. My baby brother Peter was diagnosed with cancer when he was 13 months old. He was in and out of the hospital for 7 months. My mom and dad basically lived at the Ronald McDonald House because they couldn't afford to stay in a hotel. After 2 surgeries, my brother Peter lost his battle. And my father found himself buried with medical bills that he could never pay. It was the safety net that picked my father up. It was the safety net that picked my family up. I will continue to believe in and fight for a strong safety net for Floridians. Because the measure of a state is not how well we treat the rich, but how we treat the sickest and the weakest among us. But members, I also firmly believe that a government that grows too big, becomes too intrusive, and fosters too much dependency will threaten our liberty, our freedom, and our prosperity. Members, I'm opposed to Medicaid expansion because I believe it crosses the line of the proper role of government. I believe it forces Florida to expand a broken system that we've been battling with Washington to fix. And I believe it will ultimately drive up the cost of health care in Florida. This inflexible plan, thrust upon us by the federal government, is not aimed at strengthening the safety net. It pushes a social ideology at the expense of our future. The trouble with this social experiment is that I believe it is destined to fail. The notion that we will receive free money from the federal government is laughable. This is the same federal government that has not passed a budget in 4 years. It's the same federal government that spends $1.2 trillion more than it takes in every year. Florida is being tempted with promises to comply with policies that we would never pay for if we truly knew the cost. They're trying to buy states off, one by one. I am not buying it. Florida should not buy it. Because their failure to deliver has such high stakes for Floridians. If they get this wrong, we are on the hook. It would be far easier for me and for us to simply say yes to the so-called money, enjoy the accolades for a few years, and leave office knowing that the true cost will come due long after we're gone. It's not right, and it's not what I signed up for. Members, as you can tell, I have a strong opinion on this matter. And you will have yours. I look forward to the debate on this issue on the floor. I would also like to thank Chair Corcoran and Chair Hudson for their thoughtful approach that they've taken, and I'm confident this House will make the best decision for the state of Florida. Members, this session we have a serious task at hand, and I expect each and every one of you to take your job very seriously, because we represent people who are counting on us, and our conduct and our character inside this chamber and out should be worthy of their trust. As your speaker, I would ask that we consider the following questions as we approach our 60-day session. Will we leave the people of our state more free or more dependent? Will we give them more opportunities to shape their future, or will we narrow their options? Will we earn the people's trust, or will we let them down by confirming their worst fears about government and politics? Will we build a solid foundation for our future, or will we leave the hard decisions for those who come after us? Finally, members, here's the bottom line. The state of Florida has an opportunity to create a pocket of freedom. A pocket of freedom in the midst of the national uncertainty that we are witnessing today. We can create a place that rekindles the ideal that through hard work and playing by the rules, anybody can succeed. It's the ladder up concept that is so unique to this country, but seems so far out of reach for many people today. Members, if we accomplish nothing else this session, we ought to be able to look ourselves in the mirror when our work is done and know that all of us, Republicans and Democrats, made that ladder wider and higher and easier to climb for every Floridian. And by doing so, we will create a pocket of personal and economic freedom that will be the envy of the country and of the world. Let's get to work. Thank you very much, and God bless you. And God bless Florida.